So, hi everyone. In this lecture, we are going to discuss strings in C++. So, what are strings basically? Conceptually, strings are nothing but character arrays. Strings are conceptually character arrays, right? But basically, C++ has provided some header files like string, by which it gives us flexibility to use character arrays or strings with many more functionalities, right? So before going into the header file and all, we will study the concept first. We will study these character arrays, what are character arrays, and how to deal with data and all that, right? How to get various inputs in various forms, and after studying the character arrays, we may study strings also, right? So we may study the strings with the header file, right? So that's how the course is going to be. So let's move on. The string is a collection of characters. It's usually a meaningful sequence, make some sort of name or something. uh, Obviously name is, it's not necessary to make name or something like that. Any A B C D, right? E F G, whatever it is, this type of thing is a string, right? So for example, this is Elon Musk, right? This is a string with 4 characters, and this is also a string with 2 words. Approximately, it has 9 characters, right? This space also has a character, right? And in C++, the string is represented, means the string, any variable can be called string. A string is in the double quotes, and variable is in the single quotes, right? For example, this is a string, this is a character, and this is a string, right? Right. So yeah, as I have already told you, the string is a special header file, right? So basically, in C++, without this header file, right, string, this string is not a data type. We can use string as a data type using this header file, right? So in normal C++, without using standard template library, if we are not using this standard template library, we have to create string using character arrays. For example, like this will be a string, right? So that's how it's going to be. And if here it's 20, right, if char str, the number of items can be stored in this array is 20, so we can store a string of maximum of size 19. Why? Because the last character will be always null, marking as the end of the string. The string will always be terminated by the special symbol, by this null character. For example, here the name is, for example, any name, for example, Elon, right? So if you create this, then automatically internally what will happen is it will be stored like ELON, ran, and after that like this, right? So it will be stored like this, so that the compiler knows, or the runtime knows, that if I have if since we have encountered this marks as the end of the string, right? So that's how the process is internally, right? So it's very important to remember that the string, this null character, marks as the end of string. All right. So oh yeah, the string literals are stored in the character array. Yeah, character arrays and declaration. Yeah, just like we do normal arrays declaration, it will be a character arrays declaration, right? Like obviously char and string name and then size, or you can also say whatever the size you want to, right? The size should be here is +1, because one space will be occupied as the null character, right? So that's why this it will be the size +1. All right. So yeah, the number of characters that can be stored inside a string is n-1, since I've already told you, right? And is the size of the array. So character array is initialization. Just a minute. Let me add a new color here. It should be white, right? Alright. So for example, the Jane Eyre. And after that, or you can say whatever it is. Yeah. So JANE, this will be a null. This will be character with black space. Space character, and it will be IR, and it is the null character, null pointer, right? So that's how it is stored. This string is the length of the string is this, but this null pointer will mark as the end of the string. All right. So that's how the things works internally, and it's important that you know that, right? So let's move forward. The null character is automatically inserted as the end of the string because null character marks the end of the string, right? So yeah, you can see here also there is also, yeah, this is array initialization. You can also do the initialization by this way. For example, if in this method you can initialize the character array by this, the like char, and here is name, and insert the string whatever the size you want, right? Whatever the string you want to enter, you can do this. For example, Elon Musk, right? So Elon Musk is like this, right? You can it will be automatically marks it will be automatically be considered as a string because you have used double quotes here, right? But since in this slide we have already told you that internally it will be an array of 10, it will be an array of 10, this of size 10, right, of 10 characters or whatever it is, of 10 of size 10. Then you can also do by this way, right? It will be cumbersome. It's basically no one uses these kind of things nowadays. Means you can use it, right? But personally, I haven't used it because who will do this? Maybe I have used it for debugging or different purposes, but obviously this method is far better than this method, right? So obviously it's a personal choice if you want to, but the thing is that in this method you have to insert this null character at the end by yourself only. Here the C++ will automatically insert the null character at the end of the string, and you don't have to worry about that. All right. So this is one of the methods, and let's talk about the string input and output. The output of the string will be by usual cout, and that's the string name. You don't have to use loop or whatever to use to iterate. You don't have to iterate it. You just have to means write the name of the character array here, and whatever the content will be inside the character array, it will be printed, right? For the output we have cout, and for the input we have different things like for the input we have cin, and we have getLine. We have also gets, right, for the character arrays of course, but for the string header file we don't use gets, right? Yeah, so let's talk about cin first. Yeah, so let's currently take an example. So for example, there is char, there is name, and then you take the size of 13. Obviously the size of the string should be 12, right? So you write, you input, obviously the thing is, if you want user to input it, you will use cin name. Now for example, in the runtime the user writes name as Elon Musk, Elon, and then there is a space, and after that there is Musk, right? So the compiler will automatically get Elon and not Musk, because for Cin this space marks as the end of the string, right? If there is a space there, then that means that you have written your string, whatever it is. Now it will take Elon as the input, not Musk, and that's the one of the disadvantage of using Cin, right? So that's why we sometimes, if you have to use spaces in a string, we don't use Cin. Now if I use space here, it will print Elon only, not space and not Musk. All right. So that's the disadvantage of using gets Cin. Now let's see gets, right? Let's see. Go to the slide. Yeah. Now if you type city here, now in the above example, if we give city as Perth, if the user gives city as Perth, it will print Perth. And if we give city as Mount Isa, it will print Mount and not Lisa, because uh, it will not consider spaces, right? Uh, with Cin, you cannot store a string with spaces. If we want to use spaces in a string, you should use gets. All right, because if we give input as Mount Isa, it will print Mount Isa only. Because for it the delimiter is this enter. All right. When we type enter in the console, it will mark as the end of the string, end of the input, right? But if you want to write an essay, for example, if you write, let's not write here, let's write it here only. Now if you want to write an essay, right? Essay, now you declare char essay of 10,000 words, right? 10,000 characters, obviously. Now you write many lines here, you want to write many lines, obviously using gets. When you will enter something, then gets will take one line of string, will not able to take multiple lines of string, right? Gets will not be able to take multiple lines in one string. Now if you want to do that, means if you want enter to be stored as a character in string and all that, then you have to use getLine. Then that's where the getLine comes in. In getLine you use Cin, you should store this, means here it will be stored as an essay, right? And here there will be some delimiter. Means if you are not using enter, how the compiler will know when you will in your input will be ended, right? When you will stop giving the input. So obviously that will be the delimiter. In this case I have given hash. Now, for example, now if I want to give like my name is Albert, I was born in Germany, hash. Now this whole thing will be stored as a string, since this hash is considered as a delimiter. All right, since hash is considered as a delimiter, so that's how this thing is done. If you're not able to understand it, if you're a little bit confused, don't worry about it. We are going to hands on everything. Let's go to the ID, and let's say now that's a character array. Let's zoom it a bit. Yeah, Let's give the size at 200, right? So that we should not be bothered about the sizes and all in the array, right? And it will print. Let's say the string name is Elon. The string is Elon, right? Now, since I have used C in as input, let's do it by this way. See, I have given input as Elon Musk, but it has given Elon. Why? Because when you use C in, the compiler or the runtime thinks that space marks as the end of input. After that, there will be a new input or new string, right? So Elon will be stored in str, and after that, it's done. Now, if you carefully notice, when str, you have given input using str, right? Let's do it. Let's give the input using gets, right? Let's do it using gets, and let's see what happens. See, it marks enter when I type when I enter here. It will take enter as the end of the input. Means once you pressed enter, it means that okay, this is the end of the input. I will store the whole string that is written here, and it will store in str. Now, if I want to store multiple lines of input, let's say I am Albert. Oh, just a minute. LBERT. Next line. Okay, now I cannot enter multiple lines here. What should I do now? Okay, I will use getLine. It's scene.getLine. It will be the string name. Here it will be maximum, means how many characters you want to enter. I will say 199 because the last string will be here, or whatever it is. For example, I want to say 50, right? Yeah. Now the string name will be I am Albert. Yeah. Now I can enter more. I am 14 years old. I am a scientist. I'm a scholar. So see, the string is I am Albert. I am scientist. I am a scientist. I am a scholar. I didn't type scholar here. Why? Because already these characters are exceeding 50, right? If it includes here, it will be 50, right? So let's make it 100, right? Let's make it 100. I am Albert. I am 14 years old. I am 14 years old. I am a scientist. I am a scholar. And let's say now now I am pressing enter and enter. Now I am not able to give, means how to tell the compiler that I have finished my input. So here the delimiter comes in. Here the delimiter is hash. So I will give hash here to tell the compiler that okay, I have pressed hash. Now this is the end of my input. See, now it has printed scholar. So that's how the getLine works. All right. So that's how the things work. I guess you are able to understand it. If you are not able to understand, just practice more, right? Practice is the key to success. All right. So that's the thing. Now, if you want to copy and compare the strings, Obviously, the copying and comparing the strings does not work like with your normal assignment or comparison operator like this or equal to, right, with strings. But you can use to do these type of things using the string header file, right? So now let's see how to do things with string header file, right? We will do we will do some basic things. Now if you have included string, right, you don't have to do this. Just type the string, right, and obviously the getLine works that way. And now if you have two strings, well, let's say you have string 1 and you have string 2. Now the string 1 is ABCD and string 2 is, right, now you want to assign string 2 to string 1, you can do that. Alright, let's see. See, you can assign string 1 to string 2, but you cannot do that without using string header file or using the character array. It's not allowed. Let me show you. Right, let's say we have string 1 and we have string 2. Alright, now string 1 is equal to, let's prevent the errors first. Okay, string 1 is ABCD1. Now if I try to do str2 is equal to str1, obviously you have to see this as array. Is array assignment allowed this way? I guess no, right? Let's say if we have str1, let's say it should give an error. See, invalid array assignment. Which means you cannot assign one array to other array, right? So basically with using strings as a character array we cannot do that, but with strings as header file or string class we can do that. Obviously string class is something I guess you don't know about, but you will see, right? So that's how the things work. So I guess you have understood how the string works and how internally the things are done. So if you're not able to understand any of them, you can ask and just practice more and more about it, because strings is an important topic, right? It is asked in interviews, and in development there's a hell lot of implementation of strings, right? So that's it for today. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you.